Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul and with the Dicey review, and I'm super excited because today I have a solo playthrough of a game that I just backed recently off of Kickstarter and it showed up, and that is Tales to Amaze, Unmatched Adventures. Now, I have never played this game system before this game. Unmatched is a head-to-head or team-based all-out brawl type game where you have really tactical gameplay using cards and asymmetric decks of cards for each character that kind of act differently. And what they did was they decided to release a fully co-op version where you are trying to stop some good old cryptids and aliens from accomplishing their nefarious schemes. Now that is very much up my alley, so I decided to back and get the game, and I'm glad that I did. I'm not gonna lie, I have already purchased a couple of expansion packs because this game this game is fully compatible with other characters in the Unmatched series. So for instance, I can be Ghost Rider or whoever I want to, as far as that's concerned, taking on the Mothman and some of the other cryptid characters that we're having to deal with. But in general, the way that this game plays is pretty straightforward. There is an initiative deck of cards up here that will list who takes their turn. And what we're trying to do is knock out Mothman before Mothman completes their nefarious schemes. Mothman will place out doom tokens and destroy bridges around the board. And he's not alone. Mothman has help from his friends who are randomly determined, or you can pick them at the start of the game. I kind of randomly selected the Tarantula and the Ant Queen, who will each do their own kind of nasty stuff to mess with us. All of the setup has pretty much been done. What you do is you set up each of your characters using, the setup has not been done, I'm sorry. Some characters have a sidekick that can be placed anywhere they want to in the same zone, and we'll talk about zones here in a second. Other than that, all the setup has been done. We have gotten our max health set up. We have shuffled our decks of cards, and each player starts by drawing a hand of 5 cards. Most of the gameplay will be using these hands of cards, taking actions throughout the game, but there's a few different things you can do, and each player will also have a special ability or kind of a special thing that they do. So I'm going to try to kind of give an overview of how the game plays as we play it, but all that being said, we're pretty much ready to play, so let's go ahead and get down to the table and start playing. All right, so the way that this game works is Mothman and the other bad characters are going to be taking a turn trying to come at us and hit our characters to knock us out, in addition to trying to complete their doom counter objectives where they destroy bridges, and eventually if they destroy 4 bridges, Mothman will win. But all of this is going to be determined based off of an initiative deck. So what's going to happen is every round you are going to turn over initiative cards one at a time, and you are going to start to take turns based on those cards. Now, when a bad character's card is turned face up, like this Tarantula card, you will have many times a right now effect that happens, so the Tarantula will take a turn, and then many times there will be an end of the round effect that is bad as well for the monsters and the creatures. Now, when monsters take their turn, it's usually pretty straightforward. They will use their move value, which is listed right here, to try and move to the closest character and attack. That's what they do. So the Tarantula starts here. They randomly start around Mothman. And there are 2 characters that are within range of Tarantula. So there is my assistant, Daisy, and there is myself, Dr. Jill Trent. So we are both 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 spaces away. So Daisy is actually closer, which means that the Tarantula is going to move towards Daisy and attack. Now, what will happen whenever you defend against an attack is the attacker is going to play an attack card. So the Tarantula is going to have a card that will attack. This card will have some type of an attack value on it that we will turn face up if we and have to deal with. But in addition, you also have cards that you can play from your hand as defense cards. So if you have just one character, like for instance, Tesla is the only person that is involved with his character, all of your cards will work for that particular fighter, is what the game calls it. But some characters have sidekicks. So as you can see, Dr. Jill Trent here is going to have cards that only Daisy can play, cards that only Jill Trent can play, or cards that either Daisy or Jill Trent can play. And there's different types of cards that you may have. So for instance, cards that just have a shield are only defense cards. They can be used to defend against attacks. Some cards are versatile, which means that they can be used as attack or defense. An attack symbol is like a little explosion POW marker. And in particular, this card can only be played by Daisy. So I think that that is probably what we will use to defend against this attack. Many cards, in addition to their defense or attack value, will also have immediately or during combat or after combat effects that happen as well that will impact gameplay. And we'll see how that works now. So we're going to go ahead and play this card as our defense card. So Daisy is defending against an attack from Tarantula, and she has a defense value of 5. Now, Tarantula is going to turn over their card, and we're going to see what happens. Ugh. Okay, 8 Legs of Terror happens. So there is an attack value of 3 and a defense value of 5. Now there's no immediately or during combat effect, which means that that just resolves. Now, if my defense value had been lower than the attack, I would have taken damage. Since it's at least equal to or higher, nothing happens, and that means that I win the combat, technically. There are cards that say, if you won combat, do a thing. So I won that combat by defending successfully, and now we both have an after combat effect that resolves on these 2 cards. When there's a tie, the defender goes first with these effects, which means that after combat, Ace Fighter will trigger, and I will simply draw a card with the Jill Trent character. And this card will be discarded now that it's been used. But the Tarantula has an after combat effect as well. Tarantula will place a web token in Tarantula's space. So these are web tokens. Tarantula uses them to great effect to do bad stuff. If a character is going to move over one of those web tokens, they have to stop. They can't move anymore. And also, the Tarantula is more powerful when they're standing on webs, typically. Place a web token in Tarantula's space, then place Tarantula in the closest empty starting space. Put Tarantula's initiative card on the bottom of the initiative deck. Oh no, that means Tarantula's going to get to take another turn this round. Okay, so closest empty starting space I think is going to be right here. The starting spaces are the ones that have diamonds on them. So Tarantula tunneled and crawled around and did weird spider stuff. And in addition to that, their initiative card goes on the bottom of the deck, which means they're going to take another turn this round, which sucks, but oh well. All right, so that was Tarantula's turn. Now we get to turn over the next card on the initiative deck, and this is kind of how the game works. Mothman. Okay, so Mothman will do the same thing. Mothman will now take a turn trying to target the closest person, and sorry, Tarantula's card should be discarded. So the closest character to Mothman is 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Mothman can technically reach 1, 2, 3. Mothman 1, 2, yeah. So Mothman can technically reach Daisy, which means that Mothman will move and attack Daisy because Daisy is the closest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so he would have... it's a tie between Dr. Jill Trent and Tesla, so Daisy unfortunately gets stuck with Mothman attacking her as well, which is no good. But it's okay, because we have some pretty good cards for Daisy. In fact, we have an identical card to the last card that we played, which we will probably just defend with again. So we're going to defend with this 5 Ace Fighter card, because Daisy is an Ace Fighter. But now she's dealing with the Mothman, so let's see what happens. Ugh. Okay. Once again, we defended against the combat, which is great. We have 2 more after combat effects, which means that we draw a card. That's a pretty good one. And Mothman also has an after combat effect, which says deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter, which is only 1 currently. For each fighter damaged this way, add a Doom token to the lowest numbered bridge. Now, Doom tokens are bad, okay? These bridges will collect more and more Doom tokens as the game goes on, and Doom tokens will help Mothman achieve its nefarious schemes. Doom tokens accelerate the destroying of bridges, which is really bad, which we want to avoid if at all possible. There is a way that we can get rid of Doom tokens and gain some effects from these different bridge tokens, and I think we're definitely going to want to do that if we can. That being said, Mothman has taken their turn, which means that it is now someone else's turn. It's the Ant Queen's turn. Wow, we went three in a row, really bad turns. So Ant Queen has a movement of 3, which means 1, 2, 3. She can get to 1, 2, 3 a character. So Ant Queen will go and become adjacent to a character and attack. So what's going to happen is the Ant Queen is now going to attack Tesla. Now, my Tesla hand here, I only drew 1 defense card to play, which is, which is rough, but it's okay because it's a pretty good card. Now, Tesla's deal is Tesla has these Tesla coils that can charge up, and you can discharge those coils to do really cool stuff. I may not need to use my Tesla coils, but we'll see what happens with the old Ant Queen's card. All right, Ant Queen. So this is going to be a 4 damage, and it says during combat, add +1 to this card's value for each revealed strange pheromone card. Currently, there are no additional strange pheromone cards in the initiative deck. Ant Queen starts getting more and more cards added to the initiative deck. So right now, it would just basically be a 4 to a 3, which would damage me 1. That's okay. I will take that, and I will not discharge my coils because charging your coils up can be really good. So I took 1 damage, not the best, but not the worst. And that is Ant Queen's turn, which means it is now time for somebody else, an actual person, to take a turn. Yeah, player 2. Dr. Jill Trent gets to take a turn. So Dr. Jill Trent's thing is she has a gadget, and before her turn starts, she can activate one of her gadgets. The way her gadget works is she has a Hypno Ray Blaster that will give you a benefit to your attacks if your attacks are low, or she has a Ultrabiotic Tonic that will heal her if her card is higher than her opponent's defense. So I think right now I'm going to go ahead and do the Hypno Blaster since I don't have really any need to gain any health, to give myself just a little bit of a boost if I need to do some attacking. So on a player's turn, they must take 2 actions. And the actions that you can take are either maneuver, which means you can move around the board, attack, or play a scheme card, which has a lightning bolt, and the scheme cards just kind of do a thing and then they're done. That's an action. So those are the 3 actions that I can take, and I can take 2 of them in any order, and I can repeat the same one if I want to. I think the first thing that I want to do is maneuver to get closer to where I need to be. So when you're taking a maneuver action, what you will do is you will first always draw a card. This is one of the main ways that you can draw cards in the game. And then you will move, and you can move each of your characters equal to your move value, up to your move value. So I can move both Dr. Jill Trent and Daisy 2 spaces if I want to. In addition to that, whenever you're moving, you can boost your movement to go even farther. You can boost your movement by discarding a card. So if you look at any of these cards, you will have a little value in this circle on the middle that you can boost your movement by. So if I wanted to, I could, for instance, discard this laser pin to move an extra 2 spaces, add 2 to my movement, which I honestly will probably want to do, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move both. I'm going to try and move close to a bridge to activate that bridge. So here's what I'll do. I will boost my movement, and so now my movement is a movement of 4. And both of my characters can move up to 4 spaces. So what I will do is I will move first, I will move Dr. Trent. So I can go 1, 2, 3. I could go 4, but I think I'm going to stop right here so that I can clear off some doom next to this bridge. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to be right in between Tarantula and Mothman with Daisy. And that will allow me to attack and do what I want to do. So the way these bridges work is you can clear anytime after you take a maneuver action in this game, you can discard a card and use its boost value to clear doom tokens. In addition to that, if you discard a card, you can activate the ability on that particular bridge. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to get rid of the, oh, these are all really good cards. I think I'm going to get rid of the Battle of Wits. No, I'll get rid of the Insightful Deduction, which is just such a good card, but I'm going to get rid of that one. And what that will do is that will allow me to trigger the ability on the bridge and get rid of as many tokens as the boost value. So I'm getting rid of 2 Doom tokens, and I get to reveal the top 2 cards of an enemy's deck and discard 1, which means I can kind of seed the deck here before combat. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal the top 2 cards of Mothman's deck, or do I want to try and take out Tarantula? Do I want to try and take out Tarantula? Oh, wait. I can't discard that card. I cannot discard this card because I need to save it to be able to use it to attack. So instead of doing that, because this one says any, all the rest of them are Jill Trent attacks. So I think what I'll do instead is get rid of the Battle of Wits. Ah, that's such a good card. Anyway, I'll get rid of the Battle of Wits instead so that I can use this to attack. Okay, so, but I still get to reveal and do this ability. I think I'm going to go after Mothman. I don't know, clearing out these guys can really help. Maybe I'll go after Tarantula. Tarantula only has 10 health, so what I'm going to do, I can reveal the top 2 cards of the deck. One of them is a 1, and one of them is a 3. So I'm going to discard that one, put that one back, which means that I am going to now attack with, I'm now going to attack with Daisy using this 3. And then that means, so that's my second action, is I'm going to attack. When you attack, you have to play a card that can either be an attack card or a versatile card like this one is. So I play my card, and then you defend, you reveal and defend against that attack with the villain. So I have a 3 to the villain's 1, which means that I do 2 damage to the villain, taking it down by 2. There is an after combat effect, but it is only in the attack box of the card, which means that that does not trigger. That card is a defense card, not an attack card. But I do have an after combat effect that will trigger from Dr. Trent that says reveal the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, put one of them on the bottom of the deck and the rest on the top in any order. Now, what's probably going to happen is this deck is going to get reshuffled. So, yeah. So anytime the deception card for a bad guy is played, it means that the deck is immediately reshuffled. So I will set aside these cards, reshuffle everything, and then put the top 3 on the top in any order. I think that's how, so the timing of how the deception card gets shuffled in is a bit confusing to me. I'll have to clarify. I'm probably doing this wrong. But whenever it says, whenever you reveal this deception card, you go ahead and reshuffle the deck, anything in the discard pile, and then you can, including that, right? Okay, so including the deception card. And then, so I would then be able to put these top 2 back on the top in any order that I wanted to. So, honestly, they're both pretty bad. But I think I want this one on top because I have a way to stop that one, I think, from... Do I have a way to stop that one? Yeah, I can stop that one. It's fine. Okay, so that is my turn for Dr. Trent. And now it is going to be the next player's turn, and the next player is going to be Tesla. All right, sweet. So Tesla will now take a turn doing the exact same thing. He can take 2 actions, maneuvering, attacking, or playing a scheme. Now there is a lot of attack in Tesla's hand. And Tesla is cool because he is a ranged attack character. So each character will say either ranged or melee. Melee attack characters, like Dr. Trent, have to be next to their opponent to attack. Ranged characters, like Dr. Tesla, can attack anyone that is in the same zone as them, regardless of if they are adjacent. Zones are the different colors around the board. So for instance, you can see that Tesla is in this dark purplish, whatever that color is, zone, and every other space in that same color in that zone is reachable to him as far as attacks. So for instance, if I were to go, let's see, if I were to go down here, if I were to go 1, 2, 3, 4, I could attack the tarantula if I wanted to, because the tarantula is in the blue zone, or I could attack Mothman because Mothman is also in the blue zone. So ranged characters are really nice. So I definitely want to do some attacking, and I think I want to maneuver first. I think what I want to do is maybe focus on one character to knock them out first and reduce threats. I would love to just bum rush Mothman, but I think we might need to take out a couple of the minions first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver first. So whenever you maneuver, action number 1, you draw a card. Ooh, nice. Okay. And now I drew a scheme card. So anyway, maneuver first. Tesla's movement is 2. I would really like to move more than 2. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to boost the movement. 7 Hertz. Oh man, those are both really good cards. Death Ray, that's a really good card. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard the Death Ray, even though it is a fantastic card, to move. And now my movement is 5. No, a 6, because that was a boost value of 4. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Going right there, honestly, isn't a bad idea, because then I could have access to both 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have access to the tarantula and Mothman, and I think I might want to try and focus on the tarantula. And I think I remember what was on the top of the tarantula's deck is like a 3, maybe? So that is not bad. Okay. So what I can do is I'm going to, maybe I can double attack. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack the tarantula, and I'm going to use this card. Now, 7 Hertz has an ability. You can use your Tesla coils. You can use your Tesla coils to discharge and gain more powerful effects on cards. And also, if both of your coils are charged, at the start of your turn, you can deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter that's adjacent to Tesla. So if both of his coils get charged, he can zap people that are next to him, which is an awesome ability. But let's see if we can do a double attack here using one of our coils. First things first, the tarantula will defend. And it says immediately, cancel all the effects on the opponent's cards. And if tarantula is in a space with their web, also ignore the card's value. That is a really bad card. That means that this after combat effect is canceled, so it doesn't matter anyway what I was going to do. But that's okay, because the value is still valid, and it's a 4 to a 2. So tarantula will take 2 damage. They're down to 6. Now, I can't discharge to double attack like I was hoping to do, but it's okay. Hopefully, we will be able to attack on our next turn. That was the second action that Tesla took, and Tesla's thing says at the end of his turn, charge one of your coils. So now both of my coils are charged, which means that at the start of my next turn, I will zap tarantula if tarantula is still in that space. We do have 1 more turn to take because tarantula got a double turn, which means that they are going to attack. Now, when there's more than 1 target for an attack, the players get to choose who takes the damage. I'm going to choose Daisy because Daisy actually has a defense card that they can play. So I'm going to play this defense card for Daisy, which is 5, Indestructible Cloth. This combat, your fighter does not take any damage from other effects other than combat damage. So there's no special tricksy damage that can be sneaked through. During combat, if Tarantula is a space with a web token, this is a 6 instead. There's not a web token there yet, but there will be. So 5 to a 4, I defend. All right, that is a full round. All of the initiative cards have been played. What happens now is we go from left to right and then resolve any end of round effects on our initiative cards. And that will be pretty bad for some of this stuff because it's going to advance Doom and do all kinds of crazy stuff that we don't like. First thing that happens is the Mothman's card. The Mothman card says at the end of the round, advance the threat marker a number of spaces equal to 1 plus the number of Doom tokens on the lowest numbered bridge. We have bridge number 1 right now that has not been destroyed. Luckily, since there's no Doom tokens, because we removed them with Dr. Trent, that only increases by 1. In addition, the Ant Queen activates. It says at the end of the round, advance the threat marker 1 space. Then, if the threat level is 3 or higher, add a random Strange Pheromone initiative card to the initiative deck before you reshuffle. There are random bad ant cards that will get shuffled into this initiative deck and start to activate the ant more and more and more, which also means ideally we want to get rid of the Ant Queen. Let's see here. Now, these pheromone cards don't necessarily give extra turns to the Ant Queen, but they do give the Ant Queen benefits, which is no good. So you want to get rid of that. And then there is also an end of round effect on the Tarantula. Place a web token in Tarantula space if there's not one there already. So the Tarantula moves around the board and starts putting more and more webs around wherever they go. Bad news bears, indeed. Then you reshuffle the initiative cards and do the same thing over and over again until the game is over. The game will end, once again, whenever Mothman is defeated, or Mothman completes their objectives of destroying 4 bridges, or both of our characters are killed, which is also a possibility. And that's how it works. So round 2, let's see what happens in round 2 and who goes first. Who goes first is player 1. Fantastic. So Tesla goes first. And this is great because Tesla has 2 fully charged coils, which means at the start of their turn, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter that is adjacent to Tesla. That means that he takes a damage, and then, let's see here. All right, so what I could do is do some serious discharge attacking stuff. Okay. I'm going to try and go all out and blitz Tarantula. I have a card. As long as there's not a card that comes up that says cancel all effects, I can discharge both of my coils to do a really big attack. So let's see if this works. Against the Tarantula, I'm attacking for 3, but it could be a 7 if I discharge my coils. What does it say? Yes! A defensive 3. But there's no super crazy effect. So what's going to happen is I'm going to discharge 1 of my coils, which means that the card is now a value of 5. I'm going to discharge 2 of my coils, which means that now the card's value is 7, which means a 7 against a 3. So I'm actually going to do 4 damage to the Tarantula. So there's only 1 health left on Tarantula. And I now have a second action. What I'm going to do for my second action is I'm going to play a scheme card. This is an action that we have not looked at yet. A scheme card has a lightning bolt, and to do a scheme action, you just play the card. So this one says, and do what the card says. This one says fully charged. Charge both coils and gain 1 action, which means I now have 1 more action and 2 fully charged coils. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my second action to attack with 7 hertz and see what happens. So it's a 4, but I can discharge coils to do more stuff. So the defense is, oh no, cancel all the effects, but it's okay. Oh, no, it's not okay. Tarantula pulled a whoopsie on me. Immediately, cancel all effects on the opponent's cards. If Tarantula is in a space with a web token, also ignore that card's value. This is fully canceled. The attack fails. Bad news. Okay, so we almost killed Tarantula, but you know what? It's not all bad. Jill Trent still has a turn, and it might work out. Okay, so hopefully we will get a chance to take a turn with Dr. Jill Trent and finish off this tarantula before, the Ant Queen happens. Okay, so Ant Queen is gonna move. There are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There are 2 options. And I think because Tesla is supercharged, I might want to have Ant Queen come to Tesla, although that's gonna, he has no defense. Okay. Take a hit with Tesla, or try and get a defense with Jill Trent. I'll defend. 1, 2, 3. Sure. Okay, so the Ant Queen is going to be attacking Jill Trent, and I need to play a defense card. Recovers health, move, Trent. Yeah, I'll do this one. The Hypnotist, and the Hypno Ray Blaster is active, which means cancel all the effects on the opponent's card. It's a 3 versus a 3. I take no damage there, so we defend. Fantastic. Okay, the Ant Queen has gone. Now hopefully, Jill Trent? No, the Tarantula. The Tarantula is next to... The Tarantula is next to Jill and Daisy. I don't want Daisy to die. I don't want Tesla to die either. You know what? I think I'll say that Tesla is the one that is taking the hit. So let's see what Tarantula does. Ha! Nothing. It's a deception. It's a hoax. So we took no damage on that attack, which is hugely lucky. Every monster has a deception card in their deck, and it's just a nothing. So you can actually plan around it if you know when it's coming, if you have some ways to see it coming, and have like a good attack or defense. It would have been really nice to have that whenever we're trying to attack him, but anyway. Okay, Jill Trent maybe, hopefully. Mothman, freaking, she's going last. Okay, so Mothman is adjacent to Daisy, which you check if things are adjacent first. So Daisy will be the attacker, or the attacked rather, and I don't have any way to defend. So Mothman is just gonna get a free hit. I do have a defense card, but it's a Jill Trent specifically card, which means that I cannot defend for Daisy with that card. So let's see what Daisy takes. 3 damage after combat. Okay, so down to 2 for Daisy. If Mothman won the combat, which he definitely did, we add a Doom token to the lowest numbered bridge, which is bad news bears. But now, we do get to go with Jill Trent. Okay. So the thing is, I would like to attack the Tarantula. I would like to attack the Tarantula. Currently, I have no way to attack the Tarantula with a card. So I'm going to need to maneuver first, I think. And hopefully I will get... Nope, that's another Jill Trent card, which means I need to maneuver... Daisy out of the way to get Jill Trent in position, and I need to boost the move. So what's going to happen is I'm going to boost my movement, giving me a 4 on the movement in addition to my 2. So now I can move 6. I'm going to move Daisy first. So Daisy, and honestly, Daisy needs some health. So I think what I'll do is I'll kind of move Daisy out of dodge. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, get her kind of over here a little bit. Or should I do that? Well, it's fine. And then go 1, 2, 3, 4 right here with Jill Trent as my other maneuver. And then I'm going to attack. I'm going to attack the tarantula to try and get rid of the tarantula and kind of reduce our threats a little bit. Hopefully this will work out well. 3 against a 2. Cancel all effects on the opponent's card. If tarantula is in a space with a web token, also ignore the card's value. Oh my good grief. That is such a brutal card. Tarantula is really sticking it to us. The good news is that if tarantula doesn't move, Tesla will kill it. So there's that. I probably should have thought of that, honestly. The fact that Tesla would kill tarantula on its next turn, I probably should have just left it where it was and let that be, but oh well. What's going to happen now is we have to resolve everything. So, advance the threat marker 1 space. Then, if the threat is 3 or higher, add a random strange pheromone card into the initiative deck before you shuffle. So we have to get a random strange pheromone card and add it into the deck. Pheromone cards are bad. They don't allow them to take an extra turn, but they do bad stuff at the end of the round, so we might also want to think about focusing on Ant Queen a bit. Tarantula. Place a web token in tarantula space. If there's not one there already, there is. Advance the threat marker a number of spaces 1 plus equal to 1 plus the number of doom tokens, so 1, 2 on the lowest numbered bridge. And those are all the bad things that happen at the end of the round. And now we have to do this again, and we are really low on cards. So we're gonna have to do some maneuvering. Mothman goes first. Mothman is adjacent to Dr. Jill Trent. I have no defense cards for Dr. Jill Trent, which means that I take 3 damage. And if Mothman won the combat, add a doom to the lowest token. So Jill Trent takes 3 damage. We might need to flip over to her, heal some damage gadget on the start of our next turn. Okay, Dr. Queen's Strange Pheromone. So that does nothing now, but it says that each enemy in Ant Queen's zone will recover 1 health at the end of the round. And also there are cards in the Ant Queen's deck that say, based on how many pheromone cards are out there, do damage or something. Okay, so this is also bad news, because I should have moved 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 1, 2. Yeah. So I should have moved Daisy 1 space further to get her out of danger. I didn't think about the adjacency rules. I'm making all kinds of errors here. But since Daisy is the closest, Ant Queen will move to Daisy and attack and likely kill her. She only has 2 health. It's a deception. Okay, Daisy, you got super lucky. The deception is a 0/0 card and just shuffles her deck again, the Queen's deck. Okay, so now let's see what happens. Player 1, thank goodness, it is a player, which means, this is fantastic news. At the start of your turn, if both coils are charged, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter that is adjacent to Tesla and move them up to 1 space. 1 damage for the tarantula kills the tarantula. We no longer have to deal with the tarantula, which is great. Whenever you get rid of an enemy, you will remove their card, their token, remove their cards from the initiative line if they're already there. If they are not there, then whenever the new initiative card comes out for the enemy, you just disregard that initiative card, which is fantastic. But that's at the start of our turn that happens. So Tesla now can take his full turn. Tesla is also a ranged hero, and we can start doing some damage. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver. So maneuvering, I will draw 1 card, and then I can move. And this is a decent card. Tesla has a move of 2. So I think what I will do is 1, 2. I'll get within range of the Ant Queen. and I will try and attack the Ant Queen. It's not going to do a ton of damage, but I could set things up. I could set things up so that I would have some stuff happening next round. Okay, so I think I'm going to, as my second action, I'm going to attack the Ant Queen. Now I have some things that I can do, potentially. Ooh, okay. Yes, and I will probably want to do that. So what I can do is I have an immediately effect that says I can discharge one of my coils to cancel all the effects on my opponent's card, which is fantastic because this is an immediately, which means this happens before the during combat effects. And this during combat effect is really nasty. It says the value of this card is equal to the threat level instead, which means it would be a 5/5, which would be really bad. But that's canceled. Now it's a 3-1. I do 2 damage to the Ant Queen, getting her down to 8. And now, at the end of Tesla's turn, he gets to charge 1 coil. So I discharged a coil and recharged the coil. Now we have the Tarantula. Get out of here, Tarantula. You forgot the memo that you're dead. Okay, player 2. It is now player 2's turn. Dr. Jill Trent. So Dr. Jill Trent has a health of 2. And I think what we are going to do is, if your card's printed value is higher, recover 1 health. We may switch over, so at the start of Dr. Jill Trent's turn, she can switch over to whichever side of the gadget that she wants. One side of the gadget says, if your card's printed value is lower than your opponent's, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck and increase the value of your attack by the boost value of the revealed card. I have probably forgotten to do that a time or two. The most recent examples, though, where the card has no value, if I had have boosted that, it wouldn't have made any difference. If you boost a value of nothing, it's still counted as nothing in an attack. So it completely canceled the attack. The Ultra Biotic Tonic heals Jill 1 if her value on the card is higher than her opponent's. So I think I'm going to go ahead and shoot for some healing for a bit. And then I'm going to maneuver with Jill Trent. And yes, I'm going to maneuver with Jill Trent. So starting off the maneuver, drawing a card. So I drew Battle of Wits, which is a combat card. Reveal the top card of your deck and your opponent's deck. If your card has a higher boost value, deal 3 damage to the opposing fighter. That's not bad. I do want to, at some point, start taking out the Ant Queen. I can't do that right now, though, with this card. I could move Dr. Trent up to 2 spaces to maybe 1, 2, to maybe get a little bit closer so that I could hopefully maneuver, number 1, towards the bridge, and number 2, so I think what I will do is I will go ahead and move Daisy over here to get her out of danger for a second, and then maybe she can go to this bridge and activate it on the next turn to get rid of some Doom tokens, because that's actually, well, it's going to destroy the bridge at the end of this combat anyway, and there's no way I could have gotten there. So what I could have done is I could have gotten to the bridge, discarded a card to remove these 2 Doom tokens, which would save a bridge for 1 more round, but I didn't have the cards to do it. I couldn't have done that, I don't think. So it won't really matter. I guess knowing that, what I will do is I will go 1-2 instead of 1-2 to get close to this bridge so that maybe Daisy can start taking Doom tokens off of this bridge. And maybe heal herself a bit, which actually might be pretty good. So what I'll do is I will attempt to attack Mothman with Dr. Trent as my second action. And let's see what happens. So if this card effect doesn't get canceled, which it does not, that is fantastic. Okay, so number 1, the Deception card was drawn, so 2 damage is happening, which is great, to Mothman, because it's a 0. So that's fantastic. So down to 18. Then, after combat, reveal the top card of your deck and your opponent's deck. If the boost value is higher, which it is not, then deal 3 damage to the opposing fighter. Okay, it was not higher. But the printed value of my card was higher than my opponent's, so Jill's Ultra Biotic Tonic will work, and Jill will heal health. You can't ever go above your starting health, but that's a nice little ability. So all that's been done now, and since this hoax card is now put in the discard pile, the cards will be shuffled, and we will now do all the end of round effect stuff, which is no bueno. On the good side, we don't have any cards to discard, which is a thing that will happen, but we have some bad news for Daisy as well. So at the end of the round, advance the threat marker equal to the number of Doom plus 1, so 1, 2. Any of the excess is just lost at this point, and it resets to 1, and a bridge is destroyed. So whenever a bridge is destroyed, all of the Doom tokens move to the next numbered bridge, and this bridge goes to the destroyed bridge space, which activates 2 things. Place Mothman adjacent to the hero with the lowest health. Adjacent. That is Daisy. Oh, to the hero with the lowest health, not the fighter. Sorry. So the hero with the lowest health is Jill. So he was already adjacent to Jill, I believe, so no need to move him. And then each player has to discard a card. We don't have any cards to discard, so no bad news there. Now, Ant Queen's Strange Pheromone. Each enemy in Ant Queen's zone recovers 1 health. I believe Ant Queen would count herself, but Mothman is not in Ant Queen's zone. Now, at the end of the round, advance the threat marker 1 space. If it's higher than 3, add a random Strange Pheromone. It's not this time, so that's actually not bad. And then we reshuffle and do it again. Let's see what happens. I need to draw cards. There is a bridge that will allow us to draw cards right here, and I may need to activate that a couple times to get some people some stuff. All right, let's see what happens here. Mothman goes first. Mothman has a move of 3, but he's already next to Jill, so he's just gonna attack Jill, and she has no defense. An attack for 4. Yoicks. Okay, down to 7. After combat, deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter. For each fighter damaged this way, add a Doom token to the lowest thing. 1 more damage to Jill, and 1 Doom token on the bridge. Now, hopefully, we will be able to solve this problem and heal Jill because of Daisy on the turn. If Dr. Trent gets a turn. Player 2, Dr. Trent gets a turn. Okay, so at the start of her turn, I can pick which gadget I want. I think I'm going to keep the healing thing, but what I will also do is maneuver. I'm going to maneuver, and this is a okay-ish card, but honestly, I want to I think I want to stay where I am and just immediately chunk this card for Daisy to get rid of these Doom tokens. So what I'm going to do is, after you maneuver, if you're adjacent to a bridge, you can discard a card to get rid of Doom tokens equal to the number on the boost, which was 2 on that, and you also get to activate the power. So a fighter recovers 3 health. I think I am going to recover health for Dr. Trent since she is right next to all the bad stuff right now. I would love to heal Daisy as well, but I think I need to do that. And I'm going to maneuver again, which means that I can draw 1 more card. Ooh, that's cool. And I have a defense card, and I'm just going to keep this card. So that turn was getting some cards. Now let's see who goes next. Ant Queen. Okay, Ant Queen takes a turn. She's right next to Tesla, which means she will attack, and Tesla has no way to defend, unfortunately. 4, add +1 to this card's value for each revealed Strange Pheromone card. Oh my gosh, that's good. There's not a Strange Pheromone card revealed yet, so Tesla only takes 4, only. Lols. All right, 9. Let's see what happens here. Player 1. Okay, at the start of Tesla's turn, he deals a damage to each person next to him because, wait, each opposing fighter. Okay, good. Sometimes bad stuff can happen to your teammates in this because of the way that the game works. But it's opposing. All right, so I will maneuver. Ooh, you may discharge Coils to discard that card. Also add its boost value to this card's value. Nice, okay. Move value of 1, or move value of 2, and then I don't think I want to move, honestly. I just wanted to get a card, and I'm going to play that card to attack the Ant Queen so that we can hopefully get rid of her and just really focus on Mothman. So there is a 4, and then we are going up against a 1, and there's an after combat effect. So currently we are dealing 3 damage. If we spend a coil, so either way, during combat, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck. It is a 2. Okay, so if I discharge both coils, I could discard the card if I discharge 1, which it's going to be, it's not a terrible card, honestly. I could add the card's boost value to the damage, but honestly, like spending both of my coils and giving up a pingable damage to get 2 more damage, that would make it a 5 hit though. That would take it down to 3. Yikes, this is a tough decision. I would get 1 coil back at the end of my turn, but then I would lose a pingable. You know what? I'll do it. I'll discharge both coils, this gets discarded, and that now becomes a 6 against a 1 to do 5 damage, taking Ant Queen down to 3. I don't know. I don't know if that was a bad move or not. Anyway, that's Tesla's turn. At the end of his turn, he recharges one of his coils, and now it is Ant Queen's Strange Pheromone, which doesn't mean she takes a turn, so now we refresh and do the round again. Advance the threat marker 1+1 for each doom, so that is now to 4. End of round, advance the threat marker 1 space. If it's above 3, add a random Strange Pheromone, which is yuck. And then end of round, each enemy in Ant Queen's zone recovers 1 health. That's still only these 2 people. And now we have to do this. Honestly, I don't know that I want these Strange Pheromone ant cards to trigger again, so I'm hoping that we can maybe knock Ant Queen out this round. Question mark, he said. Let's see what happens. Okay, player 2. Hey, player 2 goes first, and player 2 has a card, which might just help. Yeah, let's maneuver with Dr. Trent. Ooh, okay. Okay. 1, 2. And we know, oh, we know what's on the top. No, we discarded it. Ah, okay. After the maneuver, however, we could activate this again because of Dr. And that might stop a trigger from happening. Oh, this is tricky. I don't know if we can kill Ant Queen, but we might be able to. Let's go for it. So the issue is, okay, I don't think Ant Queen has the card where she can cancel the printed value. She might. Tarantula did, and that was really brutal. She does have the thing that says it's equal to the threat instead of the actual printed cost, which would be really bad. Unless I did that, okay. So maybe I hold off, because if I go 1, 2, 1, 2 would still not destroy a bridge. So maybe I hold off and keep both these cards. So maybe I just attack as my second action, which might give me another action if there's no cancel these card effect cards, which there probably is, let's be honest. So Ant Queen is defending against a 5 from Dr. Trent. I knew it. Now, the nice thing is that there's no cancellations, but the value of this card is equal to the threat level instead. So it's a 5 against a 4, which means everything triggers, which is great. So I do 1 damage because it's 1 higher and it didn't get canceled. And then after combat, gain 1 action. So I essentially just have a free action, and after combat, if your printed value is higher than your opponent's, you gain 1 health. So now I'm up to 10. And I think what I'm gonna do, I have a freebie action. I'm just gonna try and attack Ant Queen again and maybe see if we can finish her off with Tesla. So 3 against a, please be a hoax. Yes, it's a hoax, which means Ant Queen defends none of that, and she's dead. Ant Queen is dead. Ant Queen is really dead. She's really dead. She's no longer alive. Ant Queen is off the board. Fantastic. Okay, so, which means Ant Queen stuff will not happen. We just have Mothman. We can do this. We can do this. Okay, so Ant Queen is gone. Which means it is now Ant Queen's turn? Yeah, I don't think so. You're gone, Ant Queen. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Ant Queen's turn? No, you're gone. Ant Queen? No thanks. God, this would have been such a brutal round. Now it's just Mothman. He's easy. They all laughed. 1, 2. So Trent is closer, unfortunately. She has healed a bit, which is good because Mothman's about to just really beat up on us. Ah, no, he's not. It's a hoax. Mothman's not even real. What are you thinking, Paul, being scared of the Mothman? Just put a light in front of him. Problem solved. All right, player 1. So this is going to be really simplified now. We just have to stop Mothman. Mothman is really tough, so I'm not saying it's simple, meaning it's going to be easy, but we have a straightforward objective. Get rid of Mothman. So player 1 is now player 1's turn. I don't have both coils charged. I think I'm going to maneuver. Ooh, that's a good card. So since Tesla is ranged, I can just stay where I am and attack him because ranged characters can attack anyone within this, anyone within the same zone. And this is a 5 attack. And after combat, I could do some cool stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna attack for 5. See what happens, Mothman. Defensive 1. If the printed value is 4, ignore its value. Okay, this stuff is gonna start to be really tough. Because what happens is, immediately, if the printed value of the opponent's card is 4 or higher, ignore its value, meaning this card doesn't have a value, which means that Mothman wins because his 1 is better than my nothing. And then some after combat stuff happens. Now the good news is that I do get to trigger my after combat effect on the card at least, but Mothman goes first, he's the defender. If Mothman won the combat, add a doom token to each bridge. All of them even. Okay, so there's that. And I get to, at least charge both coils, which I would have gotten to do anyway, but oh well. Okay, it's the end of the round. Woohoo, fantastic. Which means that Mothman will move 1, 2, 3, because there's 2, which destroys a bridge. All of these go to the next bridge, which is bridge number 3 right here. This goes over here. Each player discards a card. I can't. Mothman recovers a health for 1 for each character still in the game, which means full health. Mothman is at 20. This is tough. Let's see what happens next round. All right, next round we've got player 1 first. Okay, so player 1 is Tesla. Now, unfortunately, Tesla's ability only triggers for adjacent fighters, so I probably should have moved next to Mothman to do some damage, but that does not trigger. I do think I want to maneuver. Okay. Ooh, that's not bad. Okay, so if I maneuver, I can at least get next to the bridge, or do I want to just maneuver and hope for, because Dr. Trent can get over to the bridge if she needs to, or maybe Daisy. Okay, so next thing, I'm going to attack as my second action with a lightning storm, hopefully dealing some damage. 3 against a, 2, cancel all effects on the opponent's card. Well, 3 against a 2, still a 1, but I don't get to discharge my coils to do some cool stuff. So that is 19. All right, now let's see what happens on Dr. Trent's turn. Yes, it's Dr. Trent's turn. Okay. I think I want to switch into damage mode. I'm going to maneuver any fighter. Okay, so I can maneuver going 1, 2. Okay, so I've done that, and then now I think I want to attack Mothman with the gyroscopic jetpack. Now, I don't think there's probably going to be much of a chance that my card is lower than this one. Oh yeah, that's a deception. That is fantastic. So I do 4 damage and nothing happens, which means Mothman is down to 15. It could happen. But the only problem is now he's going to start taking his turn. So let's see what happens here. After combat, I could, if I wanted to, move my fighter 2 spaces. I don't think I want to. I want to keep them where they are. Mothman takes a turn. I can pick who gets attacked. Since Dr. Trent has the ability to heal herself, I think I might... oh, sorry, this needs to shuffle up first. Sorry, the hoax went into the graveyard. So I want to try and... I really do need to do something about that bridge, though. Oh my gosh, I should have done something about the bridge. I'm going to have to do that on the next turn. Okay, Mothman is attacking for 2. Not that bad. But what's going to be bad is this. We got to do something about this. Because now, 1, 2, 3, 4 total. We got to do something about that. All right. That is going to be Dr. Trent's. You know what? That is going to be whoever comes up first. Well, no, it needs to be Dr. Trent because she's the one that can get there. Player 1. Of course, it's Tesla. Okay, at the start, he does 1 damage to Mothman because Mothman is adjacent, which is good. He cannot get over to 1, 2, 3. He has a move of 2. He can't get over there. So he really can't do anything about the bridge. Dr. Trent is going to have to do something about the bridge. So he's maneuvering for one action. I guess, you know what I could do? So Tesla has the ability to attack with range. So what I might do is I might go 1, 2, maneuver again, draw a card. Gotcha, okay. That's not amazing though. 1, because all I have is 1 boost on both of these. So what I'll do is I will discard this card though to remove 1 Doom token, unfortunately, and trigger the action. A player draws until they have 4 cards. So I will let Dr. Trent draw 4 cards because that is needed. And then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe that'll be Tesla's turn. Maybe what I can do is attack and get rid of the rest of these. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. So I will maneuver with Dr. Trent. And I will go 1 with Daisy to then get rid of all of the Doom. Okay. Shuffle 3 Dr. Trent cards from your discard pile back into your deck. Would that be beneficial? They have to be specifically Dr. Trent cards. Do I even have 3? I do. I have some good ones. Okay, so maybe get rid of a different card than that one while Daisy's still around. Let's do this one to get rid of the 2 doom tokens. So now we're not triggering at the end of the round. And I'm going to say that now a player draws until they have 4 cards. Dr. Tesla will draw. Dr. Nikola Tesla will draw until he has 4. Okay, there's that. That was action 1 for Jill Trent. Action 2 will be an attack. A gyroscopic jetpack attack against Mothman for 4, hopefully dealing a whole lot of damage against a 3. Deal 1 damage each after combat. Okay, so a 4 to a 3, I do 1 damage, down to 13. I've really got to start doing some chunks of damage here. After combat, move your, no, but the defender goes first. After combat, deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter. So Trent takes 1 damage. And for each damage done this way, add a doom token to the lowest bridge. Okay, so there's that. Oh my gosh, sorry, I cheated. I cheated. I just assumed that Dr. Trent would go next, and it was actually Mothman that should have been going next. So we're gonna have to do a bit of a retcon here. Okay, so what would have happened is Mothman would have attacked Dr. Trent, and she would have had, because he went, so she would have had these defense cards. So I'm just gonna say that this card would have been my defense, and that one we've already resolved that one, so we'll just say that this card was Mothman's attack. Yuck. During combat, increase the value of this card by 1 for each destroyed bridge, which makes it a 6 to a 5. So she takes 1 more damage. Then, after combat, place Mothman in the closest empty starting space, which will be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We are blocking Mothman's starting space. So I guess I'll go down, I'll say we go down here. 1, 2, 3. Because if there's a tie, we choose. And we're closer to that. Okay. So we've done our thing, and now it was Dr. Trent's turn, and now it's the end of the round where we will go 1, 2, and reshuffle. Ugh, yikes. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. We're behind on the bridges. Let's see here, but Tesla is not doing things. Okay, so Mothman can get to both of us, but he can get to Daisy closer, so he'll go 1, 2 to Daisy. Then Daisy will take a damage, probably. I can defend, and I will try and defend with this 2. Against a 2. Nice. Cancel all the opponent's effects, which that would have been nice to be able to do a damage, but at least Daisy defended. That's fantastic. And now whose turn is it? Player 1. So it is Tesla's turn. So let's see what happens on Tesla's turn. He's not adjacent, so he can't damage Mothman, unfortunately. But he could do some moving stuff, and okay. Okie dokie. So he will maneuver first to get within range of Mothman. I will go 1, 2, okay, and then I'll do a lightning storm. So I will attack for 3 and hope that there is a, okay, if the printed value of this is 4 or higher, ignore its value. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So a 3 against a 1, which is going to do 2 damage, and 1, 2, and I can discharge both of my coils, or 1 coil, to deal 1 damage. So 1 coil is deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter in your zone. So I could deal 1, but I'm going to discharge 2 and deal 2 damage, bringing Mothman down to 9. And then, after combat, if Mothman won the combat, which he didn't, do a thing, but I don't have to. Okay, now it is going to be Dr. Trent's turn. So now we do what Dr. Trent's needing to do. Okay, so I cannot get adjacent to Mothman with Dr. Trent, but I could with Daisy. So I'm already adjacent with Daisy. Let's maneuver. So we draw a card, Dr. Jill Trent. I could boost the move to get Dr. Trent equal to... Ooh, I could boost the move to get Dr. Trent adjacent. And then I could discard with Daisy to get rid of the Doom token to give Dr. Trent 4 cards for her attack. Okay, so I will boost the move with that card going 1, 2, 3. And then at the end of the maneuver, since Daisy is adjacent to a bridge, I will discard a card, getting rid of the Doom token and activating its ability, which allows a player to draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm about to start taking damage with Dr. Trent, and now I have some attacks that I can use. So I am going to use the Energizing Spray, which might give me a double attack if there's no text. We'll see. Immediately, if the printed value is 4 or higher, ignore its value, and if Mothman wins the combat, do a Doom token to each bridge. I should not, I really have to remember that 4 is the magic number for Mothman. Now, whoa, okay. Ignore its value, but I still get to do my thing. So a Doom token goes on each bridge, unfortunately, which means we're about to be in bridge trouble. But at the end of combat, gain 1 action. So knowing that 4 is the magic value, I am going to deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter. I could attempt to, oh, there's so many of these. So I could try an insightful deduction. Okay, so 3, 3. Oh, yikes. So yeah, they cancel each other out, but I can seed Mothman's deck a little bit here. So after combat, his goes first. Deal 1 damage to each adjacent fighter. Oh my good grief. 1 and 1. Yikes, this is bad. Okay. For each fighter damaged this way, add a Doom token to the lowest numbered bridge. We get it, Mothman. You bring the Doom, okay? Now, that is done. And after combat, reveal the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Hey, the hoax was on the very bottom. Put 1 of them on the bottom of the deck and the rest on the top in any order. So I'm putting the hoax on top, which means we know if we have a really big attack, we can do some significant damage. Unfortunately, that is the end of the round, which means that we are definitely going to trigger that, which means that this bridge is going to get destroyed, which means we are in trouble. Because if we don't get rid of the Doom, we basically have 1 more round. And Mothman recovers 1 health for each player still in the game, going back up to 11. And add +1 to all enemy attacks for the rest of the game. Yoinks. Let's see what happens here. Mothman goes first. Yeah, let's defend. What's going to happen here is he's going to attack me and reshuffle the hoax, which means I do not have my guaranteed attack. Oh, the fun timing of the turns. And sorry, Tesla should have recharged one of his coils at the end of last turn. So knowing that, I'm going to just play the 1 card that I know will do 1 damage against Mothman because, oh, it's a hoax, okay. After combat, deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter, take him down to 10. He attacked either one of my enemies, or my characters, it doesn't really matter. But now we know that it's our turns for a couple of turns. So let's see what happens. Let us see what happens. All right. Who goes? Is it 1 or 2? 1. Tesla goes. All right, Tesla, what have you got? Do you have the ability to move all the way over there to the bridge and take out all the stuff? No, you don't. You do need to, you'll probably need to maneuver, or do you need to maneuver? You've got 3 of the exact same card. I shuffled. Let's see here. So should I attempt to maneuver? I really can't. I would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, and the most I could do is 4. I couldn't even get there. I mean, unless I get a boost of 3. So let's do this. Let's maneuver. I do not. I do not have a boost of 3. So I will just attempt to attack. And I really don't want to move out of this, even move this way. I guess I could go make it to where it's only 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could move right here. I'm still within range because I'm ranged, and I could attack him. So I will try and attack with a 2, which is not great. And let's see what he gets. Defending with a 2. Increase the value of this card for each destroyed bridge. Place Mothman in the closest empty starting space. So definitely lost that combat. And he goes here. That's the closest empty starting space. That was Tesla's turn. Let's charge a coil. I could get to the bridge with Dr. Trent, whose turn it is. Yeah, there's no way. There's not a way, I don't think. Okay. Discard one's card. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, caught red-handed. Here's what I will do. I'm maneuvering. I could maybe survive one more round. I could maybe survive one more round, but I think at this point I am prolonging the inevitable. I'm going to attempt to attack. I will maneuver. You know what? I'll maneuver over here. Move a fighter up to 3 spaces. I will maneuver over here, and I will get rid of this one, 2. That'll get rid of 2, which would then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I'm just going to attack. I'm going to attack and see if I can do some damage. 1, 2. Yep. Increase the value of this card by 1 for each destroyed bridge. Oh, hey, the value of your opponent's card is equal to the printed value and cannot be changed. So 3 to 2, I deal a damage. Woo woo! Down to 9. And after combat, place Mothman in the closest empty starting space, which I think will be right there. And now, at the end of the round, Mothman will gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, he'll gain that right there. So I do get one more round. That's good news. And let's see how we die. Let's see how we die here. Player 1. Hey, come on, Tesla. You can maneuver. You can do it. Or do you want to double attack? Let's double attack. I'll attack for 2. I could try and maneuver 1 and get a better card. I'll maneuver 1. Hey, that's a better card. I will attack for 4. And let's see what happens. Immediately cancel all the effects on your opponent's card, so that doesn't happen. But I do 2 damage down to 7. Let's see here. That goes there. This goes here. That is Tesla's turn. Player 2's turn. I will maneuver. Getting real low on my cards here. I can go 1, 2 with Dr. Trent, 1, 2 with Daisy. Discard this to get rid of 2 Doom tokens. Really doesn't matter. Honestly, I should save them for a defense, I think. So I won't do that because it's going to lose either way. But 5, Energizing Spray. Is it a hoax? No. Deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter. For each damage this way, add a Doom token to the lowest numbered bridge. So I do 2 damage down to 5. Hey! And that's my turn, which means that it's Mothman's turn. And I need to add a Doom token to the lowest bridge. Mothman will attack me. I will defend. So it is a 4 to a 3 after combat, deal damage to each adjacent fighter. A 4 to a 3. A 4 to a 1. I'm going to 1, 2, 3. Deal 1 more damage. Add a Doom. And I lose. And actually I was dead just now because he gets +1 to his attack, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the round, Mothman wins. Mothman wins. You know, in life, Mothman mostly just wins sometimes, and that's a real shame. Even though we lost terribly, I had a lot of fun, and this game is a lot of fun. I'm sure I missed a ton of things. I will notate them and edit them where I can, and note out what I did wrong. But in general, this game is a blast. And there are 2 enemies that you can play. You can play against 2 main villains. You can play against Mothman, or you can play against the Martian Invader. There's 2 sides of the board. You can also play against all the cryptids, the tarantulas, and the ant queens, and skunk ape, Jersey devil, and all that kind of stuff. This game is a lot of fun for spooky season. And what you can do is you can add in all of the unmatched fighters to this game and play against Mothman and the Martian Invader. So you could play, I've played Ghost Rider against Mothman. You can play Sherlock Holmes. I think there's some weird interactions with some of the cards, but almost all of the decks are playable in this game if you want to play any of the unmatched characters co-op. So this is coming to retail soon. Make sure and check it out if you get a chance. It's a lot of fun, and hopefully you enjoyed this playthrough. But that is all for now. I will see you next time.